This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back, everyone. If you're looking for fake news, change the channel right now. Don't waste your time because you're not going to find any fake news on this network. No way. There's enough of that in what is called, or so-called, the mainstream media. There's like our, as I like to call them, the liars from hell. Fake news. Now, this is just a money grab. That's all they do. They create... they have to report sensationalism to get the listeners and the viewers and the readers, and once they get that, they get the advertising bucks, and it's a vicious circle. Just tell the truth. It's a lot easier, and you get more accomplished that way. Exonation, my guest this hour is a young lady. Her name is Shenee Edwards, and Shenee is going to be talking to us about bullying. Now, church bullies are common in many churches. They wreak havoc and create dissension. They typically must have an enemy in the church because they aren't happy unless they are fighting a battle. They tend to maneuver to get an official leadership position in a church, such as chairman of the elders, or deacons, or treasurer. Church bullies have always been around. I remember when I was going to church, there were always church bullies, and I hate to say it, but my mother was one of them. But they seem to be doing their work more furiously now, today, than in the recent history. So why is it, in this modern age, that they continue to grow? That's an excellent question. Well, my guest this hour is Shenee Edwards. She's going to use her background to elaborate the unfortunate topic of bullying and how it can cause serious consequences. Her upcoming book, the Miniseries of Me, will be available April the 18th. And to give an insight on how to unlock your full potential and not collapse under fear. Joining me now is Shenee Edwards. And Shenee, welcome to the X-Zone.
How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my great pleasure. I understand that you're a minister?
Yes, I am. I've been ordained now for 2 years.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I hate to say it, but I tell the truth, and my mother was one of these bullies. She always had something to complain about. She always had to try and outdo somebody. And when I was a young kid going to church, it was like, Mom, why are you doing this, Aren't we supposed to be Christians? Aren't we supposed to love each other? Like, you're going against what we're supposed to be doing, Mom. And it wasn't until I was older I understood the power struggle and the need for some people to be bullies. Mm-hmm. So... in your opinion, what does bullying consist of? Or what constitutes bullying?
I truly, honestly believe, this is from my own personal experience, that bullying, especially in church, I think is more, well, not even just in church, and as a whole, is more like a power struggle. Mm-hmm. Being able to have control over someone else by intimidating them, using things against them, using their past against them, using their status. Hey, I'm pastor such and such, so you have to listen to me. And sometimes there's another way to get their way. Because I've, even when people say, well, God told me this and showed me this, so you have to do it. And, and sometimes you don't a lot of times people don't want to rebuttal, if somebody said, hey, God said, well, I don't know if God told them or not. So, I'll go ahead and do, what they tell me to do. And sometimes at the end of the day, it's something that they're struggling with. So they feel they can belittle someone or, play more of a bigger role than what they already are, then, that makes them feel good inside. Because maybe they see something in somebody else, this person's coming up, they may surpass me, so if I can keep them, lower than me, then, I can still stay in this position and feel good about myself, because at the end of the day, I really don't feel good about myself.
From my experience, Shenee, people who are bullies are very insecure.
Yes, very insecure.
Shenee, I'm sorry, what were you going to say to her?
I said, even in church, that's why I said it's a whole lot of that going on, especially behind the four walls of the church.
Shenee, you and I have to take a break. Please stand by. Exonation. Shenee Edwards is our special guest, and her website is www.sheneeedwards.com, and I'm going to spell that for you. SheneeEdwards.com. And Shenee and I will be back on the other side of this short break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't forget, Exonation, Shenee's book, The Miniseries of Me, will be available on April the 18th, and we'll both be back on the other side of this break. Whatever you do, don't go away. You won't want to miss what Shenee and I are going to be talking about next.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
How would you like to be able to read other people's minds? Well, the next best thing is here. When you know how to read a person's name, you know how the person thinks, feels, and behaves. Each letter in our name holds a key to unlock our true essence. Our name contains both our gifts and challenges in this lifetime. Mnemology science discovers personality secrets hidden in the placement of the letters of our names, including the first and last impression people remember about us. Sharon shows us how to interpret the arrangement of letters as outlined in her book, Know the Name, Know the Person. Sharon Lynn Wyeth created mnemology science after 18 years of research and testing her theories, and has supported thousands of people around the world in understanding themselves and others better. You'll enjoy Sharon's unique teachings as she shares her system to learn the gifts behind your given birth name. Even if you don't like your birth name, there are jewels in this book. If you're thinking of changing your name, ready to name your child, or wanting to get along better with others, this is the book for you. If you'd like to improve your relationships and change your life for the better, get the book today, Know the Name, Know the Person, or visit www.knowthename.com. That's www.knowthename.com.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere, Florida. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine such as hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining rooms can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you visit, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic downtown Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing. Old Florida cuisine at its best.
If you're a seeker, don't miss the inspiring book Shamanic Awakening, Between the Dark and the Daylight. This remarkable work chronicles shamanic counselor and indigenously trained dream decoder Sandra Cochran's 35 years of experience with diverse wisdom keepers throughout the Americas. Sandy's initiations across the British Isles, Turkey, Greece, and Egypt, combined with her knowledge of symbology, psychology, and myth, influence her dream blog and workshops. Sandy offers private readings, sacred international journeys, a meditative CD, and her book, Shamanic Awakening, to encourage you as you navigate your earth walk and create a deeper connection to yourself. Find this and more at her website, starwalkervisions.com.
Welcome back. Shenee Edwards is our special guest. Shenee has a new book coming out on April the 18th entitled The Miniseries of Me. And Shenee, where will your book be available?
It will be available right now when it comes out on Amazon and also Barnes & Nobles.
Super.
And you can also actually go straight to me and get the book, and I'll just mail it to you signed.
That is super. Let me ask you, what are the easiest ways to confront the issue of bullying head-on? Is there a way that we can do it?
Now, I'm speaking through my own experience and what I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
I had to actually confront the actual bully. Pull them aside and talk to them face to face, and come to find out the person that I was dealing with actually had a lot of issues in their home that they were dealing with. And when we came, to church and everything, that they were acting out on me because, during that time I was really, trying to live my life for the Lord and focus on things. But, I think they saw, that other side of me, and they were trying to do the same thing, but they didn't want me, like I said, surpass them. Coming to find out they was doing a whole lot of things at home. And I think confronting the person that, maybe who the bully is always something deeper than what they're portraying as part of themselves being a bully.
What kind of bullying were you the subject of? How did the bullying affect you?
I was mainly, with this particular person, I was mainly belittled a lot. Like, during the time I was leading the choir in my church, and, even every time I did a solo or, if I played the piano, as soon as service was over, I could bet they would come up to me and say, oh, you messed that note up. You were flat. Or, you need to do a little bit more practice. And I was just like, what in the world? I was trying to, really figure out why is this person attacking me every single Sunday, or if I did Bible study, or if I spoke in front of a crowd, they critiqued every little thing. I said, well, you should have said this, or the scripture you used should have been this. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? Why is this person attacking me so much? And like I said, I finally got to the point where I was bold enough to confront them, and like I said, I found out so much stuff that was really going on. They actually broke down and told me so much stuff and apologized and everything. So that's mainly what I was dealing with. I was being belittled a lot.
One would think that the least likely place for bullying to occur is in church, like we hear about it in schools, with the workplace, at home. But I'm sure a lot of people are shocked when you start telling them about the bullying that goes on in the church.
I'm not sure it's more shock because the more I do talk to people, some of them are experiencing the same thing, or they're being honest and saying they've done the bullying. Because I find out a lot of people are more quiet about it. They don't want to talk. Who wants to say that I've been bullied in church?
True.
So I think the more when you actually bring the topic up, people will eventually speak up more about it, because it's not a subject as soon as you go to church, I'm being bullied at church. No, that's not something everybody sits down and talk about. They, like you said, it's more in school or, in your home. Nobody really says they being bullied and plus I don't think people realize what being bullied in church really is. And so they actually experience and they sit back and really think like, yes, I have been bullied. Like somebody is attacking me or, trying to put me down all the time, no matter what I do in church. And I noticed there's a lot of that going on. Mainly, I don't know what it is about music and choirs and stuff. A lot of that goes on within, different music departments in church, and I don't know why.
Well, could ego have something to do with the bullying that happens within music, the music industry, for example, and choirs? Because everybody wants to be the best, and if they can't be the best, they try to intimidate the person that is the best to get them out of the picture.
Yeah, it's something. Like I said, you're definitely right. It is something within music. And the reason why I'm speaking from music, because I've been in music so long. Even from a child, I was playing the piano. While my mother always had me, singing in the choir.
Mm-hmm.
I led solos and stuff, and that's where I always, not too long ago, I was attacked by somebody just because I said something about, a soprano, and she came at me. I don't know where she came from. She was all upset and told me, I shouldn't be even on the choir anymore. And if I'm talking about, I was just made a simple comment, and she totally got upset. And next thing I know, she started telling other people that I had an issue, and it got really out of hand. And when I was in other ministries or other departments, within the church, you experience some of those things, but to me, is never as bad as, the music department.
I've got to congratulate you on a lot of work that you're doing. And I'd like to share with our listeners that you're on the advisory board of Inspire the Fire, Inc., founded by Dennis Reed Jr., and he's best known for writing Necessary, made popular by R&B singer Fantasia. And I believe that Inspire the Fire became finalist on America's Got Talent and is still helping out the youth throughout the arts. Congratulations. That is fantastic.
Thank you so much. I actually stumbled upon that through my magazine that I'm the editor-in-chief of. I interviewed him in the, which issue was it? The January issue, my winter issue. And he actually just came out and emailed me and asked could I be on the advisory board, and that was it.
All right, I'm going to blow your horn here for a few seconds, okay? You don't mind? Get ready to
never mind.
get ready to turn red.
Okay.
Shenee Edwards is the editor-in-chief of Indie Mogul magazine. She's the president of the DMV Christian and Music Awards. She's a prominent expert on molestation, rape, homelessness, drinking, adultery, fornication, and even divorce. She is event planning and social media marketing analyst. She is an ordained minister of the gospel. And like I said earlier, and I've repeated it every segment so far, she is the author of the all-new The Miniseries of Me that's coming out in April of 2017 and will be available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Wow, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're helping people all over the place.
That's my heart. I just can't help it. I guess I get it from my mother. My mother's the same way. She has a soup kitchen and food pantry, and she's a Christian counselor, so I guess it passed down to me. So I don't know. I don't feel like myself if I'm not helping somebody.
Can I ask you something? When does Shenee get time for Shenee?
I'm getting better. I'm going to be transparent. I just had surgery about a month ago, and honestly, I think the surgery put me down. I had to rest. I had no choice. So that took some time for me to really sit back and really think, now I'm spending more time with my children. We just did Mommy-Daughter Day last weekend. So I think that experience, I want to help so many people, and then that experience with the surgery I just had made me realize I need to work on, spend some time for me too. And not just me, even my family, because, we doing so much, they was missing that time with me too.
Well, we wish you a speedy recovery here.
When I do have time, tomorrow I'm supposed to speak at a conference, but when I'm done, I'm going to go get my nails done and, and relax a little bit.
Way to go. Way to go. Well, like I was saying, we wish you a speedy recovery, a complete recovery, that is.
Thank you.
Is there a preconceived notion, Shenee, that everyone will be subject to bullying in some stage of their lives?
I believe so. I believe because it's always someone who has some type of, like you said, like you mentioned with the insecurity. It's somebody that you're going to be around is going to have that insecure feeling that either you're going to be, doing things better, or like I said, they're having some other issues and they take it out on, on you. Even people that I've known that were bullies, and like in high school with Facebook being so popular now, social media. Period. I'm actually good friends with somebody who bullied me in high school. We're really good friends, and and I come to find out she was bullied. So it was like, I didn't know. She said, yeah, I apologize. When we finally talked, she said, I apologize for how I did you in high school and everything. And she said, you didn't know, my cousins and she said her family members were bullying her. So when she came to school, that was her time to, so I think it becomes a cycle. So it turns around like everybody will end up, experiencing some form of it.
Is there anything that we can do to protect ourselves from bullying?
My mom always says ignoring, but that's kind of hard to do, especially if you have a very, I would say, different type of personality than somebody who can ignore it.
Or as good Christians say, you turn the other cheek.
Yeah, turn the other cheek. But that, even me, I love the Lord, but sometimes other cheek base, it doesn't work.
Well, even the Lord got really ticked off one day. Remember the story about what he did in the temple?
Yes, we're all the tables up.
Yeah, we're all human.
Tables and everything. He even called some of the Pharisees dogs and everything. I mean, oh goodness, he got upset. But yeah, I think the main thing is, like I said, I would not just confront it. I would talk to somebody about it. I think a lot of times, or write it down. I'm being bullied, get those feelings out so it'd be easier for you to react. And then just figure out what's really going on with the other person. I think a lot of times we don't communicate, with the person that's bullying us.
Sometimes we don't understand what the catalyst is on the other side. And when we get to know the person, and I think this is where common sense fits in, when you get to know the other person and you open the communication dialogue, because bullying is usually a one-sided dialogue. But if you can get that dialogue going two ways, I believe that we can dissolve the issue to the point where we can talk rationally and find out what the problem is.
Exactly. Communication is the key. And like I said, with every experience I had, once I actually talked to the person, it was always something more than what was on the surface. It was another issue, underlying issue, dealing with the person, and that was their way of acting it out by pressuring or bullying someone else.
Are you finding there are less and less instances of bullying using the social media, or is it still as popular? And I don't like to use that word, but is cyberbullying still as popular as it was even 2-3 years ago?
I honestly believe it's more. I think a lot of people use social media to bully people because it's a way of, even if they don't say the person's name, it's a way even like putting somebody out there that they may not even know and just saying things about them, posting pictures. I've seen people, totally upset over what somebody posted, and sometimes it may not even be about the person they're thinking or about themselves. It may be something that somebody said and they think that they're talking about them, but since they didn't communicate with the person, then they get all upset. So social media, I think, is honestly, in my opinion, it's getting worse. Because I've seen friendships break up because they feel as though somebody's messing with me on social. They're saying things. They're contacting me on my direct, direct message, in my inbox, and I think it's people, and people can hide behind social media more than doing it in person. It's making people who maybe not usually maybe in person would be a bully, but they can hide behind even fake profiles and bully somebody.
These are strange days.
Makes them not be as much of a coward.
That is very true. That is very true. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Shenee, please stand by. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a great pleasure talking to you, and continued success in all of your wonderful venues and ventures.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Exo Nation. My guest this hour is Shenee Edwards, a lovely young lady doing a lot for society. You have to take your hat off to somebody like that. She is like we are here in the X Zone, my friends. She believes that, and this is only in my interpretation from after speaking to her for the last 30 minutes or so, that she likes to be part of a solution, not part of the problem. And we'll be back on the other side of this break as we talk to Shenee about her new book that is coming out April the 18th, The Miniseries of Me. I am Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
There's a legend shared by many indigenous cultures of a time when the nations were cast to the four corners of the world. Each nation was given a body of sacred knowledge that held a different portion of the truth to preserve. True reality could not be known until all the nations reunited, combining the information. If a single one was missing, the world could not be reborn and darkness would prevail. The Science of Magic Radio is dedicated to reuniting the sacred knowledge. With the understanding, none of us has all the answers, but together we can open new perceptions and possibilities. Through our combined vision, the world can be reborn into a place where darkness no longer prevails. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic daily on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, or visit us at thescienceofmagic.net.
Gibbs A. Williams, Ph.D., is a practicing psychoanalyst, supervisor, researcher, and author in New York City. Much of his life has been dedicated to understanding nature and the uses of meaningful coincidences or synchronicities. His radical and original non-Jungian, non-mystical, non-magical theory of synchronicities illuminates much of the fog surrounding this challenging and perplexing topic. His ideas and manners are fresh, presented in a style that is both entertaining and highly informative. He is also an expert on crisis intervention, specially focused on violence reduction for the police and citizens, mastering anxiety, frustration, and stress without the use of medication, and effectively preventing and treating heroin addiction. Dr. Williams can be contacted at his email address at gwwilliamsny11@aol.com or visit his website at
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A soul balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today. www.soulbalancing.world.
Welcome back, everyone. Shenee Edwards is our special guest. www.sheneeedwards.com is her website. She has her new book coming out April the 18th. It'll be available on Amazon and on Barnes & Noble. It's entitled The Miniseries of Me. Tell us about your book.
Well, the Miniseries of Me is basically a collection of short stories that deal with a lot of difficult issues that people have, and mostly it's about me. It's things that I've actually gone through or known people that have gone through certain things. The main things I've talked about, child molestation, rape, divorce, adultery, alcoholism, being on drugs, homeless. It's so many things in the book, and each story at the end has a lesson to it.
So what was your inspiration for writing the book? What would you like readers to walk away with after reading your book, The Miniseries of Me?
I would like them to walk away knowing that life happens, but at the end of the day, you can forgive yourself, and you can, really find that with God, that God really loves you within your heart. No matter what you do, no matter who you know, what you've done, or who you are, He still loves you. That's what I want people to walk away with after reading the book.
Shenee, are you finding that more young people are coming to the church and that other people who have left are coming back?
Lately, yes. I think more. I mean, even though there's still some things happening in church, I think people are, with everything that's going on, they're, going back to church just to, really come to themselves. And I think young people are, because they're tired of so much stuff that's going on in the world as well. But the thing is finding the right church to go to. That some people are having an issue with is once they find where they fit in the right church, then they can learn, they can grow, and move forward. And they're still going to, everybody's still going to go through things, but at least I can. It's you have that peace in knowing that I can go to God, I can pray, I can meditate, I can read my Bible and things like that. I don't have to go through this all alone.
How do you find the right church? What should somebody look for? I would imagine that it's that feeling you get when you walk through those doors and the congregation is there, and you feel as you get that tingly feeling in you, and you know that you have found your extended family. Would this be one of the true signs? Yes,
because everybody's different. You're going to be drawn to different things. Like, for instance, the reason why I'm at the church I at now, honestly, is when I first walked in, it was all the love. I mean, the greeters and everybody. How are you? Like I've already been there 3 or 4 years already. It's the way they presented themselves. So within like 6 months, I joined. And also my daughter was never really particularly cared for church, even though she's still young. Yeah. But she loves the children's ministry. And matter of fact, the other day, this past Sunday, she told my husband and I, Mommy, if y'all need to hurry up, well, I'm going to be late.
Oh my gosh!
So that excited me too, because other churches, she's like, I don't want to go to church. We got to go to church. So that was another reason. So even if that's something you're looking for, a family church or a church where you can just some people like to just sit in the background and and just get the word and leave. So I think everybody's different. When you find what the need that you desire, then that's where you should go. Because even some people may be in church for a while and feel, okay, well, my time is up, I need to go somewhere else. That happens too. So I think it's whatever your need is at that particular time, the church that can fulfill that and help you grow, to help you move to the next level, that's where you should be.
See, when I was a young boy, the church that we used to go to was an old garrison church from the 1700s. I think it had, its max was 100 people, 125 people. I was baptized there. I was married there. My mom and dad were married there. So there was a lot of tradition and a lot of ties to the church. And it was an old church with old virtues and old values. That old-time religion? Mm-hmm. And I find a lot of the churches that that was in Montreal, where I used to live, and I've been in Ontario now 20, 30 years, and I'm still searching for that church with the old time feeling, with those values and virtues. But I've always kept my Christianity very close to my heart. So I know whether I'm at home, whether I'm in the office, whether I'm out on the drive with my wife, I carry my church with me.
Because at the end of the day, it's still about your relationship with God.
Exactly.
And because even like you were saying, is you taking that church with you, because we are the church.
Yeah.
And because the Bible that we read says we are the church, so we're going to have that feeling of wanting a more desire to be with God. Like if you're just sitting in your living room, like sometimes I'm by myself and I'll just close my eyes and I'll have a tear fall down just thinking about all the stuff I've been through and how He's brought me out of it. So it's also building your relationship. I think some people, at the same time, they're looking for a place, but then they forget, like what you said, carrying that in you, still in your heart. Because at the end of the day, when church is over, what you're going to do with everything you learned? Are you still going to study on your own? Mm-hmm. Are you going to listen to the gospel on your own? Things like that, Christian music, worship music, on your own, because you still got to live after those 2 or 3 hours are over.
Exactly. How do you find these televangelist television shows like Jimmy Swaggart, Ernest Angley, Pop Off, the old PTL Club? The way I saw it, and I would appreciate your opinion being a member of the clergy, I saw it as anything but real. Like, in my opinion, they were not doing what a church should do. I understand that all churches, everything takes money. I understand that. But they went overboard. They preyed on the weak to get their money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And that's where, if Jesus was here right then and there, that's when he probably would have been turning over chairs and tables and stuff, because that's not his heart, and that's not what we're out here for. We are supposed to help the needy and the weak, but if you're taking from them, and they're like, even people like that, or anybody who's vulnerable, even if somebody's going through stuff and they just looking for that relationship, but they're looking for it in the wrong thing. At the end of the day, like I said, the relationship needs to come through looking for a relationship with God, not with the man, or nowadays the woman. And I think that's where, even with those people who when they pray on them, they know that they need to see an actual man doing these miraculous things that sometimes, even if it's staged, it's because the eye can be so deceiving if you're not looking past what's really going on. And that also comes with maturity and really knowing what you're looking at. Because even when I watch these shows, sometimes I'll just sit and watch, and I'll like, if they're giving a good word, I'll take from that. But some of the other stuff, I know what to block my heart and what to block my ears from listening to, and what to block my eyes from listening to. But somebody who's really searching and really down and out, those things can really affect them, because that's what they want to see, things like that. They want to see the big miracle, or because that gives them hope. But it's a false type of hope. And that I think, and I really believe, if Jesus was here right now, then half of them would be gone. Because that's not his heart. It's to trick people and things like that. That's not what he came. That's not what he was about, or his ministry when he was here.
Something that I do not understand, and I've been asking this to members of the clergy who I've had the pleasure of having on the show over the past 26 years, is why is it that every, like Christmas time, I'm a Christaholic. I think that's what they call it, Christmasaholic. I love Christmas, and I try to make every day of the year just like Christmas Day, because I try to keep that way of treating people throughout my life, just not around Christmas time, but every other day, because people are still needy, they're still hungry, they still need help throughout the rest of the year, right? And it seems that as we get closer to Christmas, all these people dig deeper in their pockets. They go into their pantries, and they'll smile, and the Christmas spirit. How come we cannot maintain the Christmas spirit or the love spirit, whatever you want to call it, Shenee, through the rest of the year? Like I'm sure you do. Just talking with you, I can hear it in your voice. There are other people that I meet that I can see that they are true to their means, that they're true to themselves, they're true to their heart, and they're true to the other members of society. But that's the minority of people, and yet the minority join the majority of people join the minority of people and celebrate Christmas. And there's such a miraculous change in them. Why can't we be like this all year round?
I think part of it is, like you were saying earlier, tradition. It just becomes, this is something that I do on Christmas, and I don't have to worry about, the rest of the year. I did my deed. I did my quote unquote good Samaritan deed for the year. And unfortunately, Christmas time is usually around that time that people feel low. The reason I'm saying it because my father used to say stuff like that. Like, I gave for the month, or he would say things like that, and I think that's how some people feel. When I gave for the year, I'm good with God. Let's, I continue the rest of my life and do what I want to do. And unfortunately, it's just that's how just people are. And I think when they really realize, that there's really not. It's not saying it's not effective. Because during that time it is a lot of needy people. But after Christmas and is over, those same people may still be needy. You may have just, if you did gave them some soup for Christmas, the next day what's going to happen? They're not going to have any soup because you didn't go to the soup kitchen. So I think it's more out of tradition, and like I said, and you feel good because you gave, but then the feeling is over. And unfortunately, like you said, it's not many people who have, the heart maybe like you or me or, somebody else. Like, I see somebody, the other day, not too long ago, my husband, he went to Subway and got the guy on the corner, gave him a sub, bought him a sub, just to give it to him. But, I think you just have to have a heart for that.
No, I think it's a little bit more than that. I think you have to have God to do that.
Yeah.
You need to be...
God's heart.
Exactly.
Yeah, the heart of God.
Because, I keep on telling listeners this. Like they say, Rob, you talk about UFOs, you talk about ghost hauntings, things that go bump the night, this, that, and that thing. And then you talk about religion. Well, hello. It's all part of the same package. It's a mystery to some. And yet, if you take the time to read the book, it's so simple. In Genesis, my favorite chapter is, and God said, let us create man in our image, in our likeness. The key to it is right in those few words. And yet, people, just doesn't click. You and I have to take our final break, my dear friend. Thank you so much for joining us. Great pleasure talking to you. Exo Nation, Shenee Edwards is our special guest. Her website is SheneeEdwards.com. The name of her book is The Miniseries of Me, and it'll be available April the 18th on Amazon.com, on Barnes & Noble, and I will bet you, and I'm not a psychic, it'll also be available on a lot more venues in the very near future. We'll be back on the other side of this break as we wrap up this hour here in the X Zone.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed.
It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? I'm Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and on The Secret to Everything, we will merge the practical with open investigation into all realms of the mysterious. We will talk to cutting-edge alternative health practitioners, those who inspire and motivate you in business and life, and of course, we will share stories of the paranormal, conspiracy, and cryptozoology. You will transform because of the frequency I carry, the frequencies my guests carry. Life may never be the same after you listen to this program, for the secret to everything is for you, the listener, for those who desire more in every area of their lives and believe that it can still be found. Listen and discover thesecrettoeverything.com.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
Welcome back, everyone. Shenee Edwards is our special guest. The name of her book that is being released on April the 18th is... Do you have your pens and paper out? Well, you can always listen to the refeed. I won't keep you in suspense. It's the Miniseries of Me. That's the Miniseries of Me. Can you share a couple of the stories in your book with us?
Oh, great. Yeah, I sure would. One of them, actually, I'll bring this one up. I actually was talking about the relationship with me and my biological father, all the ups and downs we went through, dealing with him not really being around in my life. I actually put, in the story, excerpt from an email that he sent. And this particular story took me a while to get through. I didn't realize I still had a lot of unforgiveness in my heart towards him. And I actually, one of the nights that I was, writing the story, I had to actually call my mentor because I just started crying and I just couldn't control myself. And, she told me to keep writing the whole time you're doing this story, keep writing. That's the best part, because it's also, you emptying out, all the feelings that you had, the negative feelings you had for him. So that particular story, I think, will affect a lot of people, because a lot of people do have dealt with, not having their father in their lives, or, if they knew who he was, then him not really playing a huge role in their life. Another story, I did it from a male's perspective about adultery. How a male, felt about, his wife cheating on him. She was in the church and a Christian and everything. And how he was, looking towards her, and how her life was, and with her family, and really looking to, serve God. But when she did, committed this act, it kind of made him forget about everything. Like, he was like, if this is the person I love, and she did this to me, what kind of God would, allow me to hurt like this, when the woman that I put my all into, turned around and, had sex with someone else.
Yeah.
So I did it from a male's perspective. So, it's for men too. I got a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is a woman." I think, no, I have a couple of things about men. I have another story about a male and a female that were best friends. Just friends. He was always there for her, and when he finally needed her the most, she bailed on him. She fell in love and wouldn't have nothing to do with him. Mainly on her end, her defense was she didn't want to do anything to disrespect her relationship. But at the same time, he felt hurt because, every time she was in trouble, every time she needed him, he was always there. And so he ended up not speaking to her anymore. So I talk about a lot of different things, even as far as the, being raped. That story came from me because I was raped.
Oh, no.
So I use my experience, in that story, from someone in my neighborhood I've known for a long time. And, after, being raped, it was like, okay, well, I tried to keep myself, as a Christian, growing up in a Christian home, trying to keep myself, wait until I got married and keep myself pure. And then this happened. So what was the point? I'm not a virgin anymore, so I might as well just, go ahead and have sex anyway. So that, I came from that perspective as well. So it's a lot of different topics, like I said, that I cover that I would not let a child, read.
Sure.
But I think it's a lot of healing in it because it's something that everybody can relate to. Everybody can relate. People can relate to even with a divorce. Mm-hmm. Alcoholism. I touch on a lot of subjects. And most of the stories are only six to 7 pages. It's not too long, but I cover a lot in those 6 and 7 pages for each story.
Why is it when something goes wrong in someone's life, they say, God, why have you done this to me? Mm-hmm. I don't understand why people blame God for their fallacies or for the situations that they've put themselves in.
And that's something that I struggle with, too, because I did it. I know when my divorce, when I had, got the first thing I said was, I wanted this marriage to last forever. God, what happened? And to come to realize that was my fault. Like, I think a lot of times we don't want to put the blame on where the blame needs to be. The issue was that it was me and my husband had issues that we never dealt with before we got married. Mm-hmm. And the first thing we could do was blame God, because a lot of times people don't want to blame themselves. So who else can you think to blame than God?
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're going to really rebuttal and you and God going to go back and forth and all this stuff. So the first thing, hey, God did this, or God took my mother away, or, I lost my house, God took my house away. And then, no, you didn't pay your bills.
Exactly.
Something happened. You don't want to, it's like we don't want to a lot of us don't want to take the blame for ourselves until we come face to face, look in the mirror and say, you know what? No, I'm sorry, God, forgive me. That was me. I was at fault. And I think that's with a lot of people. They don't want to take responsibility for their own actions until they have to really face themselves and realize, no, that was not God. That was something I did or something someone else did. Or either, they too afraid to blame another person. That's how I was even when I got molested. Like, I never, I always felt like, God, well, he put me in a situation where I got molested, blah, blah, blah. No, that was because this crazy man felt as though a 12-year-old was, he needed to have sex with a 12-year-old. So I think, like I said, it's all about not taking the blame for your own actions.
How has God being in your life changed your life?
Oh, wow. So, I mean, with all the stuff I've been through, I should be so angry and bitter and hateful. But I just have so much love in me now. It's hard to describe. It's like undescribable. Like, I just can't describe what he's really done. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about my relationship with him, because I know how he's changed my life. I know, me seeking and trying to find, build a strong relationship. And it's not as strong as I even would like it to be. I know it's still, I still have a lot to go. But I think if I did not have this type of relationship, like, I would not be such a happy-go-lucky person. I was an angry person at one time until, like I said, I sat down one night and I cried and cried and cried, and I just felt like this peace overtake me. Like, I have you. Don't worry about anything. Nobody said anything to me. Nobody was in the room. It was like this presence I felt. And I'm not, and if anybody knows me, everybody who knows I'm not a super, super religious person. Like, well, oh, God came down and a lightning bolt and all this stuff. I don't do that. I just know at that moment, I just know my life changed because, I accepted the fact that, no matter what I do, there's somebody out there who loves me regardless. I don't have to be perfect. He just loves me.
How do you deal within your ministry with the number of growing different religious philosophies within the United States that don't have the same religious doctrines as we do?
I think the way I deal with it, it's a respect factor. Like my biological father family, the whole family is Jehovah's Witness. However, they don't celebrate all the holidays like I do. So, when Christmas time comes around, I don't expect them to come over my house because they're not.
Right.
They don't celebrate it. But it's still a respect. I think it's still a respect for. We still love each other. We're still family. I don't down them and say, "Oh no, you gotta believe in believe in this," and we don't do that. I just think now I think really it's just respect. I think if you respect each other and what you believe in, it's not harping. Well, this is wrong and you're right, because how we know that we're right. How we know that what we're believing is right. I mean, we know in our hearts, and they know in their hearts what they believe is right. So I just think it's a matter of respect, like, coming together. I can still come with you. We can have a normal conversation. Sometimes it does come into a little debate, but at the end of the day, we all have the same purpose. We want something that we can look up to, have some type of hope in, because we're still human. So it's something spiritual out there that we all are looking for.
And don't forget, the good book says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And in my interpretation of them, that is respect.
Yep. All boils down to respect. Like I said, I experienced that. Like I said, my whole family, like, they're all Jehovah's Witness. So, then I'm, like Chris, I would love for them to come over on Christmas, but hey, I don't even call them because I know I don't, I would never disrespect them like that and say, hey, Merry Christmas, just to be funny. Because, I wouldn't do it, because I wouldn't want them calling me saying, hey, don't celebrate Christmas. You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
As like you said, respect is key.
What does your family think about your book?
My family, some of them are kind of a little leery because I am putting a lot of things out there, even though I did change names and things. However, they're actually proud of me. Good. Because a lot of times people don't realize the things that happen in their household. And back in the day, we was always told, what goes in your home stays in your home. But a lot of times the stuff that stayed in our home is what affected us, and reason why a lot of people are acting the way they do, because things that happened in their home. So, that's like I said, I wanted to protect my family, but at the same time, I had to do it because I felt as though, somebody can learn from this. There's a little girl or, a guy out there that needs to read a story and say, oh my gosh, I can relate to this. I can get through this. They actually support. Matter of fact, my mother, she's been a huge support. She was the main person I was worried about, because she knows a lot. She really don't know everything I've been through and everything I've done. So I was kind of worried about what she would think of me. And then, with the molestation and stuff, she knew I didn't want her feeling guilty that she didn't know what was going on in the house and things like that. So, she was probably the main person. But once she gave me the okay, I was fine. I was like, okay, yes, she came call me and said, I'm really leery, but she said, this is what you have to do. I support you wholeheartedly. She came over. She even gave me some money to get some things done for the book. So.
Hey, Shenee, I hate to do this, my dear. You and I have to say so long for tonight. I want to thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. Continued success. You know, you've got a lot going for you. My best wishes with you, and we'll have to have you back on because I'd love to know how people react to your book. I'll bet you it's just great.
Thank you.
Take care, Shenee. SheneeEdwards.com is her website. The name of her book is Miniseries of Me. We'll be back. Don't go away.